Hey everybody, Joker's here with Players Wanted, and we're going to do a field review of Southern Tactical Airsoft Games in Theodore, Alabama. So, let's get right into it. Located about 30 miles south of Mobile, Alabama, this field sits on 18 acres with 6 different unique maps to play on, with their own unique feel. What we really liked about this field was when we arrived on site, we had a very detailed safety briefing. For STAG, they didn't care if it was your first time playing Airsoft or your millionth time playing Airsoft. You got a complete rules breakdown when you arrived at the field to go over what their expectation was for the players. There was a huge emphasis placed on player safety. In other words, you had to wear full eye seal, you had to wear a full face mask, because as they put it, you're going home with all the teeth that you arrived there with in your mouth. They really wanted to emphasize bang bang rules, and since they had a lot of kids playing on the field, to really be careful with some of the shots and the way people played. There was one particular rule that got me in some trouble, was the no cussing rule. I understand why they have a no cussing rule. I'm just a potty mouth, what can I say? Another thing that was really impressive about the facility was that even though it was an airsoft and paintball park, save for a few stains on some of the structures, you really couldn't tell it was a paintball park. Most places that we go to when we travel around and we do a lot of these different events, you go to a paintball field, you lean up against any obstacle or any structure, and you're coming away with a lot of paint. Since STAG switches up their facility and switches up a lot of the obstacles every 2 weeks, they do a lot of cleaning as well. Like even walking into the staging area, there was not a lot of excess paintballs laying around on the ground. The fact that the facility was clean really was a nice positive, because when I got home I did not have to worry about getting paint out of my plate carriers, off my guns, or some stuff that I typically just don't throw in the wash every single time I play. The big guy in charge, Stan, took us on a guided tour throughout all the different fields, showing us a lot of what we did not see in the short time that we were there. Coming back from Airsoft Palooza, we only really had time to stay there for about an hour or so, so we got 2 games in, but he still wanted to show us a lot of the facilities that they had on this property. Like the 3-story castle structure, which was designed by a coastie, a member of the Coast Guard, who designed the interior of the first floor to be sort of like inside of a ship. Tight corners, pitch black, a lot of curves. It really was a nice area, as you can see by this little tour we're going on. We really found how they ran their games throughout the day to be really refreshing. So the first couple of matches of the day are a force on force games that just are really to get people moving around, blood pumping, stuff of that nature. However, when they actually start their scenarios for the day, the first scenario, if you don't complete what you need in the first scenario, it affects what happens in the second scenario, so forth and so on. So if you had missed something very important to your scenario, it might affect the gameplay later on. Unfortunately, we did not get a chance to play this aspect of the games at STAG because we had still 12 hours ahead of us on our drive, and we were really only there for about an hour. But we are definitely planning on heading back sometime in the near future to really get the full experience of the STAG field. So we can go on for hours about how great this field is, but let's get right into the nitty-gritty of the review. So we're going to review this field based on several different factors: cleanliness, the uniqueness of the facilities, the gameplay, cheaters, the whole 9 yards. So we're going to go over and break down all the aspects of this field, so that way hopefully some of you in the future will say, this is a place I really want to go to. So for cheating on this field, I'm going to rate this one as a 2, extremely low, 2 out of 10. There was only a couple of guys that really did not call their hits. It was not that big of a deal on this field at all. Most of the players there were very honorable, very professional, and they called their hits. There was only a couple of times where we had like some questions about what happened because of some of the uniqueness of the rules that they have there, but on a whole, there was not a real big cheating factor at this field, which is a refreshing change from some of the fields we've been on recently. Staff professionalism, I'll give that as 10 out of 10. They've made us feel welcome as soon as we stepped onto the field. Took a long time explaining the rules, walking us through some of the stuff that was going on, and giving their future of what they want for the games and for the sport. So because of that, we're giving them a really high rating for their professionalism for the staff. For the cleanliness of the field, I'm going to go ahead and give that an 8 out of 10. While the majority of the field was really spotless, you really couldn't tell that there was a paintball field on this facility, except for maybe a few stray paintballs here and there and some standing on there. We had a little issue with the bathroom. That's about the only problem that's really up there. So it's a really clean field. If you're looking at it just from a paintball field / airsoft field perspective, then it's a 10 out of 10. The field was really great. They do a lot of policing, and it shows because of how much care is inside on those grounds. Going inside of buildings and structures where paintball is being played, you don't see a ton of BBs everywhere. So they really do a great job of keeping their field nice and clean. For the shop, for airsoft or for paintball, I'm going to have to give this one like a 5 out of 10. Really, they're not a shop there. They have some basic necessities you might need, like BBs. They have drinks. They have some food that you can get while you're there. But on a whole, this is pretty much just a field. So while I'm sure that they could probably get some stuff, we really didn't have time to shop their shop. It wasn't a big structure, and it was not a lot of stuff that was inside. But overall, again, the big highlight about this is the field itself. We're going to go ahead and get the gameplay on this an 8 out of 10. We played a modified version of Force on Force, where the attacking team has to eliminate the defending team. So attacking team has unlimited respawns. However long it takes to remove the defending team, or 20 minutes, is how long that the defending team now has to attack on their turn. So if you eliminate the defenders within, say, 16 minutes and 10 seconds, win the side switch, those attackers now have 16 minutes and 10 seconds to play. We did not get a chance to play some of the other scenarios, which we would have loved to do, but at this time we're still rating it an 8 out of 10 for what we experienced and played. For flexibility of gameplay, we're going to go ahead and give this one a solid, again, 8 out of 10. We only got to play on one field, and the downside was, with this type of gameplay that we had, was the defenders were able to set up on their defensive positions, and there was some wide open spaces where they had a direct line to our spawn, which got a couple people essentially spawn trapped at the start of the game. That's about the only downside I had to it. But the fields themselves are really nice for the ones that we played on, and they had some unique structures out there that allows for different areas for you to move around on. So as we did the tour of the facility, they have everything from CQB to long range, woods games, and everything else. So it's a very diverse field. Our final thoughts and overall thoughts on the field is that this is a great, excellent field to play on. We're actually going to try taking out the entire squad out there sometime during the summer on a Sunday to go ahead and really get the immersiveness of play for all the different fields that were out there.
Come on, man,
it's
behind that
definitely
tree.
a 9 out of 10 in our book. Highly recommend, if you can, take a shot out, go out to this field. The STAG personnel are great, and I think you're really going to enjoy this field, whether or not you're a CQB person or you're a Milson guy. They have stuff
I had you right
for
here
everybody.
too. I don't know if you heard me.
So
I don't know if you heard me.
again, thank you. This is Players One, and thanks for
I did say
listening to our
bang, but it was
review.
on here.
Please like, share, subscribe, and until next time, we'll see you on the field.
Bang! Well, he didn't hit me. He did not have a clear line of sight. He did not have a clear line of sight of me. Yeah. Yeah.
That's the only place you can bang is right there. On this ladder. That's been the rule for a long time. But y'all got to figure out how to get around it. He can shoot you through the cracks and you shoot him.
And that's it. He got me.